Hi, welcome back to my channel, Fabulously Frugal and Fancy. I'm Brandy. Today's video is some very easy, quick DIYs that are patriotic. I hope you enjoy them. Let's go make something fabulous.
All right, let's get started here. I found this little red truck. It was on a clearance item, and I picked it up for, I don't know, $5 or $6. Not very expensive. That ribbon, the red and white, the red and white stripes on one side, the other side is blue with stars. And so I thought that would be perfect to use here. And then I have a whole bunch of white flowers and so forth. So I'm taking a little piece of this ribbon and I want to make one of those little, I don't know, you see them on porches. They look like a swag. Um, just a little, I'm taking it and pleating it on one side and just kind of holding it there to try to get the shape that I'm looking for. I'm looking for one of those like half circle. There you go, just like that. So then I cut it. It is wired, so it does help it hold its form till I can just kind of glue it together. And I just, again, I pinch it up at the top, just kind of do some little pleats. The wire is helping hold it, and I'm just trying to do a little, I do kind of fold the ends over just a little just to kind of give it a finished edge. And I want to make a little, I don't know what you'd call it, a little thing to hang on the truck, just a little decoration. I think of when a truck is in a parade and they have like the bunting and the banners and everything on the trucks. So this is kind of what I was going for, that kind of a look. And again, I just kind of pinch down the ends and I do add some glue to the back as well. If I sound a little bit stuffy, I apologize. There I am just adding a little bit of glue to the back just to give it a finished folded over seam. That wasn't where the wire was, so it wasn't folding. There was just wire on the end. So the ends were folding and the middle kept trying to stick up. So I just added a little strip of hot glue and I just used my spatula there. Now this truck is metal, so I use hot glue on it, even though this is not going to be always a patriotic thing, but I can just heat up the hot glue and remove it very easily. This little star came from the pack, the vase filler pack at Dollar Tree, and I just glued it to that, and then I added some hot glue to the back, stuck it right on the side. This is a very easy, anybody could do DIY. Looks like a little banner, and then I just pull out my I was going to do red and white flowers, but my red flowers were very large and they just took up a lot of space, and I was just like, oh, I think I'll just stick with the white. And I was really happy with how they turned out with just the white. I believe I used hydrangeas in the back. And if you've seen how I store my flowers, if they've already been used, I just stick them in large Ziploc baggies that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I use pant hangers to hang them up on the rod in my room. And see here, I'm just kind of placing them in. I didn't use any foam. I didn't glue anything down. I just took these very large bunches of the hydrangeas and I stuck them in there. I didn't really like the red flower in there. It just looked too full and it looked a little too squished. You couldn't really see it. And so I just left the white, and there it is. That's DIY number 1 complete. Again, I told you these were very, very simple. Anybody could do these DIYs. If you find a little red truck, it will be very easy for you to make it your own little patriotic decoration. I had some blue foam there. I was thinking of cutting out some stars and putting them over the truck, but I thought it would be too much. I got this at very inexpensive. It was just a few dollars. It's very, very flat. It's just foam on the back. I'm not sure. The quality is not good at all. It's very wrinkled and very squished the way that it was packaged. I honestly was not happy with the quality of this, or like the, what it was. So I just decided to try to use it and make something a little bit bigger. I tried to use my heat gun to flatten some of those out to where they'd been folded under That didn't work too well, but I do have a little mini iron, and I did use that. Um, and that did flatten them out. I just used my little silicone mat under it and just kind of pressed those to where they weren't sticking way out. I mean, sticking backwards. I really didn't like how that, as you can see, it's upside down and they're all sticking backwards because the way they had it packaged, it wasn't good at all. And again, this was not good quality, so I'm not even going to tell you where I got it because it was not good. And so, again, I'm sorry I left this much in. I was letting my little iron heat up a little bit and I was gathering my other supplies. I had the United States shape that I had previously used. It's a wood cutout I had gotten from Hobby Lobby. And I was getting that together. I had used it previously in a DIY, so I took it apart and I kept the wooden United States. And I had stained it blue previously and put the word, I believe the word freedom on it, but I'm not sure which word I put on it. We'll see here in just a moment. So I just used my little iron, flatten this out. You can make wreaths like this. I have never attempted one out of burlap. I think it would just be a lot of work to cut all of those shapes out and glue them all down. That's why I bought this for a few dollars. I thought it would be I didn't think it would be great quality at $3, but I thought it would be a little bit better than just a piece of foam on the back that bent up and did not do well. But again, it turns out looking pretty in the end. I do end up later on having to staple the hanger on the back because the glue that was on it just did not hold. I was considering putting something in between the petals of the flower to kind of puff it up a little bit, but you could see through the burlap, so I couldn't put foam or even like wadded up paper behind it because you would have been able to see it. And that was kind of what I was thinking, was to kind of puff it up a little bit because this was very, very flat. I hope you all had a wonderful Memorial's Day. I want to say thank you to all the people who have served in our military of any stripe. My father is a former Marine, and so I worked on an Army base for quite a few years myself, and I am very thankful and grateful to our military personnel and also to their families. Memorial Day is a time to give thanks, especially, but also to just remember those who have fallen in the service of our country. And here I am just kind of taking the carnations and the flag off the back of this. You see the tape on the back, but there was hot glue under it as well, so it wasn't coming off very, very easily, but I managed to get everything off of the back here. And I did have to kind of heat it up with my little heat gun to be able, because I was afraid the wood is pretty thin. If you've seen these little wood cutouts, they're not very thick. I was afraid of breaking it, so I heated up the glue at the back, pulled that off, and then I'm just cutting off the ribbons and things, because that was an old DIY. I try to reuse absolutely everything I can. I try not to spend more money on something. Yes, the word on there is freedom. And so I'm just trying to place where I want it. I end up placing it down here at the bottom, kind of in between some of the petals. So I put some petals over the top and some under, and I had a lot of hot glue underneath and over the top. Did have to go back in with some staples from behind. I don't show that on video, but I do end up adding those because at first it just fell off. I was trying to really salvage this cheap little thing, and it turned out cute in the end, so I can't complain too much. It did look pretty in the end, and I'm just trying to spread out those petals a little bit so that they look, and they're not covering up the word freedom, and they're just kind of there. And then I take more of that vase filler, It's hard to see in my camera right now, but I'm just kind of, I was trying to see if it would actually stay. So I take some of the vase filler and I take some of the stars and I place them in the middle of the flower. And then I also place some down on the wood cutout of the United States. I just thought it added a little bit of sparkle. If you know me, you know I love sparkle. I love glitter. I love anything that shimmers and shines. So if I can add a little bit of sparkle to something, most likely I will. And so I add a few down here beside the word freedom. And again, a very easy DIY. Because I did not make the flower wreath, this turned out very, very easy. You can get these pre-made that are very expensive for $50 to $100, or you can get cheap ones like this that are $3 or $4 if you look on cheaper websites. And that is it for that one. Again, very, very simple. And my last two DIYs, there's just 4 in this one. They're both very easy. I got this at the same place I'd gotten the other one. It is not 3D at all. It is just flat. I love this eagle with the feathers and the flag. It just is beautiful, and I love that. But it was just kind of insubstantial. And so I had this little board that I had gotten at, it was a little sign that I had gotten. Where did I get that? Family Dollar or Dollar General? One of the two. It was like 90% off, and I had cut off, it had picket fence rails at the top and bottom, and I cut those off actually just at the top. That's why the blue tape is there, because I used the saw and I cut those off previously, and I didn't want it to break up, so I just put painter's tape on there to do that. I tried hard to get the words off of this. That didn't work. They were glued down with, I don't know, like cement of some sort. Those were not coming off. But that happens sometimes. Sometimes you think, oh, these words will come off really easy. It'll be a really cute sign. But that's okay. We go with it, and we use some ribbon to kind of cover that. I use that same ribbon that I used before. I had this flag. I pulled it off of the back of that. And I'm just kind of placing it behind. There was a big glob of glue there because there was something there. And so I'm just taking this flag off the flagpole. And I put it in the background just between those things there. And I put this one up above a little bit because when I removed it, the edge was a little bit rough. And then I was going to use this ribbon to cover the top and the bottom anyway. So again, very easy DIY. Take a sign that you already have, take something and reuse it. If you don't like the way it looks, but you got it on clearance and it's cute. Here I was debating whether to use the stripes or the stars, and I go with the blue with the stars on there. I wrap it around the back, and I just hot glue that down as well. I glue it to the front first, and then I do flip it over and glue it to the back as well, just to make sure that it is completely secure. This sign turned out really cute. It is very patriotic, and it is very red, white, and blue. And I love that, I just love showing that I love my country. So I'm just gluing the flag down in place. The flag was very thin. I think it came from Dollar Tree originally. I do flip it over. I just add a little bit of hot glue to the back. Use my rubber spatula because I do not want to burn my fingers. I've done that many times and it hurts. So I try not to, get my fingers involved. But if you can prevent a hot glue gun burn and do crafting, I don't know how you do it because I've been crafting for a very long time and I still tend to burn myself. But I try hard to avoid sticking my fingers in it. All right, so here I'm just kind of placing the eagle over the top, and I just kind of raise it up because I didn't know if I could get it placed down quick enough. And that is it for DIY number 3. Again, these are all very, very easy. Now I'm taking that same ribbon and I'm cutting. I did not measure, as you can see, I have no ruler there. I'm just making them all the same size, and I believe I cut out 10 of these, 10 or 12 of these little pieces. And I do want them all to be the same size. There I am counting because I was like, oh, I don't know exactly how many I need, but this is a very simple DIY. If you have some Patriotic ribbon, you can do this very, very easily. Or if you even have Patriotic material, it doesn't have to be ribbon. You could do this with just regular Patriotic material as well. So depending on how long you want yours to be will depend on how many little pieces you cut out. Again, I didn't have to cut out very many. I'm making a small little banner. My little shelf you'll see at the end that's in my entryway is not very big. It's a very tiny space. So I did not make mine very long, but you could make this as long as you wanted. You could add beads in between. Because this is two-sided, I'm just flipping it over. I do cut a little, you know, I do the little banner thing, but I cut the little dovetail at the bottom of each one. Again, I'm not measuring these. If they're not exact, it's okay with me. None of them have to be perfect. Some of my little dovetail pieces were much wider, much longer. I didn't really worry too much about that because I think it looks cute in the end. But because this ribbon is double-sided, I only have to use one ribbon. But if you only have a one-sided one, you could use 2 separate ones to make this little banner. And I'm just doing, you know, I'm going to do alternating. One the stripes and one the stars. One the stripes, one the stars. And I don't add any beads or anything, but you easily could. If you wanted to add beads to this, you could do that as well. I didn't see the need to add anything else because, again, my little area there is very small. And so I just wanted to add some patriotic decor right as you come in our front door. All right, so I just take this is white twine that I got off Amazon. And I'm just tying a little loop in the end of it. I didn't really need a loop. I don't have any hangers. I'm not sure why I didn't just do a knot because I don't have any hooks to hang this on up there on this little shelf. So, but I did make a little loop, and then I just take my pieces and I'm just kind of spacing them out. Do a few at a time. And it's very easy how I did these. I didn't do I did it the simplest way for me, and it was simply to add a little line of hot glue, fold put the twine in the hot glue, and then fold the top part down over. A very, very easy way to make a banner. It turned out very cute, and I love it. I hope you like this one too. If you are not subscribed to my channel, I would ask you to subscribe as you watch me do this. I am trying very hard to get to 1,000 subscribers. I've been working on it for a while. I was hoping to get there by my birthday. That was this month, and I still haven't reached there yet. I've gotten a few more subscribers, but I've just kind of hit a little rut, and that's partially my fault. I've not been uploading as much as I should have been. Things have been going on here at home, and it's just nothing bad. It's just so much stuff goes on at the beginning of summertime. We've been working really hard in the backyard, getting the wooded area cleared in our backyard. And it's just been a lot of work, so haven't had a lot of extra time, and I haven't been filming any of that back there because it's just, manual labor type stuff, so nothing exciting. But again, if you are subscribed or not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up. It really does help the algorithm if you leave a comment. Even if you just open up the comments and put a little emoji. They don't know that you're not actually talking to me. it really helps them promote my channel more the more interaction I get whatsoever. So sometimes I will do that for other creators. I can't always comment on everybody's videos, but I will try to open up the comments and at least put a little emoji in there just to give them a little bit of support and just let them YouTube know that, you know, they're being watched and communicated with. Again, very, very easy. I put a line of hot glue. I put the twine in the line of hot glue, and then I just fold the top piece down over. And that is it. Here are the final products. This is on my front door, so the lighting is not great because the hallway is a little shadowed. But this is how this looks on my front door. I really like how this turned out. And then my tiny little shelf here in the front entryway. Here's a look at that with the banner hanging on the front. The little red truck and my sign all right here together right as you walk in the front door. And I love how these turned out. They were very easy to do, but turned out really, really cute, and I really like how these turned out. So let me know what you think in the comments below.
So what did you think of those patriotic DIYs? Very easy, very simple, and anybody can make these. I hope that you enjoyed them. I hope that you have a blessed day, and I will see you the next time. Bye.